Hey, boys and girls, etc. Weather report for May 10th. This is the What the Fuck edition of the weather report. Oh, we still have that up there.
Yes. Makes us look smart, though.
It does make us look smart. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, so we were looking over Mendel's accountant, trying to figure out where the source code is for Mendel's accountant. That's why we have a screen showing here. And we found out that Sanford is working with the NIH, and Mendel's accountant is one of many programs that they have for simulations, that sort of thing. He got listed. So anyway, so we're trying to track down which current version of the source code they're using so that I can review the program and figure out what they're doing. So that's what we were doing. How's everybody else?
I'm just
Alright.
teaching.
Oh, y'all. Y'all.
Very good.
Y'all
Very
okay?
good.
Why? No answer.
What?
Okay.
Why? What? Why are we
Well,
good?
I mean, I just said I'm peachy. You didn't hear me?
Why are you good? You don't have a foundation. For goodness.
That's right.
Do you have a foundation for goodness and ultimate absolutity for both impossible and
purposeful things.
events and things that are grounded metaphysically?
Yeah.
I like ground
Okay.
sentiment.
So there was a whole bunch of shit that happened over the weekend, and James tour, and I looked at some Professor Dave stuff. I watched the end of the second video and stuff like that. And then there was, I guess, 3 days ago, Dr. James Tour makes a generous offer to Professor Dave Explains. Will he accept? There was some praise stuff. Standing for Truth clipped out a bit with Rational Empiricist and Brenda talking about genetic entropy. And Standing for Truth was lying through his teeth about genetic entropy again. And does he know he's lying? Or are you lying if you don't know you're lying? I don't know.
Well, if you put it that way, I would
Oh,
say
you're
no,
lying?
but I think he knows, to be honest with you.
He knows.
That would be my opinion. I think he does. But the way you just worded it, no, I would say, I mean, obviously, if you truly believe something, then that's technically you're not lying. You're lying to yourself, I guess, but you may not know it, right? You're just deceiving yourself.
Right.
So
anyway, I don't think I watched this clip. He's put out a number of clips with his interview with James Tour, but let's you want to listen to it, boys and girls?
sure, I think I may have already heard it, but sure, go ahead.
I have not.
Reach out to me asking if you would be willing to have, a debate or a live stream formal interaction with Dave Farina after all of the controversy that's come up and, how he kind of catalyzed your abiogenesis lecture series. What do you say to that? Would you be interested in having a one-on-one conversation with him if he was willing to do so?
Oh, I would love that. I mean, he seems like a fine young man. I'd love to get together with him. We'll have a live stream, so nobody's going to edit that. And I mean, we could do it many different ways. If he doesn't want to travel, he could sit where he is. I could sit where I am, and we'll have just a discussion. It doesn't even have to be a debate if he doesn't want. Just a discussion about these topics. I mean, we can go through each slide on his video and discuss that, or each slide on my video and discuss that, or however he wants to work it. I'd love to do it, but I got something even better. We can do something here at the university. I'll get a lecture hall, and
Oh my God.
he and I can be in there. We can be distanced. We can be 12 feet apart. We'll each have a podium. We'll have a film crew there. We can do it like that. We can have some people in the audience that are dispersed in the audience. I will pay. I will pay to have him fly to Houston. I'll buy his ticket to Houston, and I'll put him up either at a hotel, or if he wants, he can stay in my home. We have a guest room. You can have dinner with me and my wife and my family, and tell us all about himself, and we can discuss origin.
Oh, Professor Dave, don't do it. Don't take that second option. This is one of those Texas Chainsaw things.
Yeah, really. Now, what do you think about that? You think that was kind of like staged, kind of, sort of? Like, I mean, what do you make of that?
I don't know.
I mean,
now, he did this interview, I thought, before Professor Dave's stuff came out. Didn't he do this like 2 weeks ago or something like that?
yes, you're absolutely right. Yes, he did.
So how the fuck? I don't know. So I don't understand that, because it kind of sounds like they've already seen Professor Dave's comeback.
Well,
maybe they hadn't.
May 8th.
What's that?
May 8th. That's a Sunday or whatever, wasn't it? Or Saturday?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this
no,
is-
but John published this. John, this is part of, don't forget what this is part of, John had an interview, and supposedly I thought I heard him say it was like 5 hours long, this interview.
6.
So whatever. Yeah. So, okay. So, and this interview happened before Professor Dave put out his thing. So
Okay.
don't
So
forget that those guys already had a back and forth, right? Professor,
Right.
I haven't really been following, but Professor Dave had already done a response to some of to his stuff prior to him releasing what he just released, correct?
Yep. They're talking.
So that's
they're
what
talking about the earlier one.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I wonder if James Stewart feels the same. But I mean, after the latest round of videos, I would not stay in James Stewart's house. I'm just saying that's
right. And he may not extend that offer now, right?
Yeah, I know.
So it's a little different now.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see what else.
I'll be glad to do that. If he wants to have me fly to his city, I'll pay to fly to his city, and I'll pay to stay in a hotel there and do it in his city. So absolutely, let's do that. That's I'll be glad to do it.
Wow, folks. So you just heard it from Dr. James Tour. He is offering to either pay for Dave Farina to fly to Houston. He will handle all the scheduling, set up a debate in one of the lecture halls there, hire a film crew to come and put it all together. Or if Dave doesn't want to fly to Houston, Dr. Tour will go to him. He's out in LA. Will fly out there, put himself up, and have a conversation there. Or if he doesn't want to do any of that, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Tour, you're saying you'd be more than willing to just do a live stream if he wanted to go that route versus a face-to-face interaction. Is that a kind of fair summation of what you're offering to Dave Farina?
Absolutely. And with those film crews, we could live stream that as well if he's worried about anybody doing any selective editing. So we could live stream any one of those venues just to make sure that there's no selective editing. And I'd be glad to do that with Dave. I mean, like I said, he seems like a fine young man. He's trying to teach the masses. Let's get any science corrected that needs to be corrected. Let's do it.
That's awesome. Well, folks, you just heard the words directly from Dr. Tour's mouth. So let's see what happens, and I'll keep you up to date on whether or not Professor Dave will accept the offer from Dr. Tour.
Well,
Okay.
There you have it. Now, do you think, now he didn't actually show him asking him the question, right? Did I right? So he's like clipping pieces of this interview. So you almost wonder, okay, did John actually ask him, oh, would you be interested? Right. I didn't hear him say that, right?
I don't know. I didn't get the impression that it was discontinuous, but maybe I'll have to watch it again at regular speed.
Yeah,
I just don't.
He didn't actually ask him, "Oh, would you be interested?" or whatever. Like, I don't know. The way he clipped that, it's just such a small clip of it. You're not seeing the whole interview. That's what bothers me about it. The way John's doing it. You know what I mean? He's
Holy shit! So, Dessel, where did you get that quote from? Wesley Ellsbury. Bank account that records all your withdrawals and none of your deposits. So I would like to talk, basically, I would like to hear from people who have reviewed Mendel's accountant's code and come up with an opinion so I don't have to spend the time doing it myself.
But Speed, didn't you tell me this morning that you love coding, you love programming?
I do, but I don't like reading other people's code. No one does. I mean, that just is
I
not a fun
mean-
thing to do.
Well,
I don't even like reading my code. Like, 3 months later, I don't like reading my code.
I
What is it?
forget. Wait, are you actually a programmer also? I forgot.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Scott.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess I forgot about that.
No programmer should have to read another programmer's code ever.
I mean, if you're if you're working for somebody, you kind of have to, right?
I know. I hate that part. That's why I'm not working for anybody right now. 'Cause I
Yeah,
just
you
don't like it.
freelance. You freelance. You work for free.
I don't
I know.
like it no more.
I know that's not what freelance means. I was making a joke.
Okay.
Debate on entropy. Okay. Let me see. Now, I got another thing. Well, okay, so Standing for Truth did the thing on genetic entropy where he clipped out Brenda and Rational Empiricist, and they were talking about, the usual crap. I don't know. Genetic entropy, we really got to start to address this bullshit and we have to address Mendel's accountant, and I'll leave it to Dr. Dan and Erica to address Y chromosome and mitochondrial DNA, because there's only so many hours in a day, right? Genetic entropy is something I can't address, so anyway.
Yeah. Well, of course, Dan, like I said, has addressed it quite a bit on his channel. So what particular aspect of it do you think needs to be addressed the most?
I don't think anybody's actually dug down into the actual details of how this shit works far enough, basically, to explain why genetic entropy is bullshit. I do know that Standing for Truth, you got to listen to him, and what he will do all the time is he will talk about more mutant. He will say more mutant. Like when a genome mutates, you cannot say that it is now more mutant than the last generation. That isn't how it works at all. So anytime you have this idea of more information or more mutant or better or moving in some direction, or when you say things like survival of the fittest, and you start to imply that, more generation after generation is supposed to get more fit, it's bullshit. That is all bullshit. And you have to just right away, you're being bamboozled when they talk about the direction of evolution. The direction of evolution is change from one generation to another. It is not up. It is not down. It's, it's not straight ahead. It's just change. And that is the part where you're getting bamboozled when they start talking like that. And you'll hear that in this talk that he did. Let me see if I can share this screen. I can't find my notes. Why can't I find my notes? Hang on a second. I got to figure out which screen I want to share.
Because you didn't take any notes, maybe?
No, my timestamps. Oh no, I don't have any timestamps. Shit. No, I didn't timestamp this one, unfortunately. Let me see here. 13. I know he started in at around 13. I'll show you the one I'm talking about. I'm not sure if I'm going to play any of this or not, but here we go. So he clipped out a part of John Maddox's stream and he republished it on his site the other day, I think. Standing did. Okay, so that's the one. Let me get rid of this one here. Oh, Peaceful Science Forums. I'll have to try that. Anyway, this is the one. Why can we not see it? There. Debate on genetic entropy in the age of the earth with Andrew. And there was just a lot of bullshit in here. Let's see. 13. Can you
They're
hear?
actually kind of unrealistic because we don't see it, but they have added in quite a few super beneficial mutations, and still all you ever get are these localized increases in fitness, but it's total functionality that decreases every time, especially over time. And that's what we find in these numerical simulations. And I'm not going to.
You can't do that with a numerical simulation. I'm sorry. Mendel's accountant does not and cannot do that sort of thing. So anyway, but this is a video, and I don't have any timestamps and haven't looked at it. It's just one of the things that are up there, and I will put a link in my video details for later. Okay. So what else we got? Let's see. What else do we have? So there's, okay, Professor Dave. Okay, at the end of, Immutable was questioning Professor Dave's motives for going after Tour at the end of the video. But then I saw a clip where James Tour was claiming that he was advising his PhD students. He's an advisor, basically, at Rice. And he was advising them not to go into abiogenesis because it's a dead end. And it seems to me that he is making that, he has that opinion not because he knows anything about abiogenesis, but because he has a religious attitude toward it, right? So if he's doing that to his PhD students, trying to keep them from going into a particular area of research because of his religious beliefs, then I'm saying that he is doing something he shouldn't be doing at a university. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I would agree with that myself.
Well, I still think we're inferring too much, maybe, or at least he may mean bio research, but I don't think he explicitly says it during that little.
I think he does say it in his series, though, because I thought I heard him say that, like what you just said, Speed, that he's telling students not to go into the field, and I agree with you. I think I think he truly believes that it is a dead end. Yeah. So, but it also implies that it's because of his bias and his religious beliefs too, I think.
By the way, welcome to the stream, Orge.
Hey. So I don't know. I kind of agree with that myself.
Yeah.
I wanted to pop in with that question, Speed, and say that when I was discussing my graduate stuff, what I wanted to follow up with, my advisor told me suggested things, and they were kind of, a lot of it was based on his opinion. Every advisor is going to have opinions on every subject. A lot of those opinions are on controversies no one gives a crap about. Abiogenesis is a controversy you give a crap about, but he still is entitled to his opinion on those things. It's not like he's not being bad just for having an opinion,
But is he, don't you think if some secular student knew where the opinion was coming from, that he would take it with a grain of salt? Whereas if he didn't know where it was coming from, he would think something different?
Well, at this point, as Scott said, you're kind of trying to peer into his brain and make decisions for him. If he explicitly stated that, that'd be one thing. But if James Tour doesn't explicitly state that, if he himself believes he has a logical reason to make these advisory decisions, well, he's doing no different than any other advisor.
Okay. I don't know. I would want to know if I had a relationship with a professor and he didn't tell me anything about his religious background.
Well,
and
again, you can't assume he doesn't, right?
Okay.
You shouldn't be assuming that James Tour does hide those things from his students, because unless you have a reason.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm trying to keep us from gossiping about it. It's
okay.
If we're on the straight and narrow, we should keep on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to do that. And I mentioned that during the last weather report that I didn't want to get into it because it's a little controversial. But I mean, it's between them at Rice, basically, to figure this out, whether or not they have a problem with it. So anyway. Oh, let's see. So what else?
But as an advisor, why would you advise students to not to go into a certain field
that they wanted to go into? I know,
any field, though, right? Why?
Well, I can give you an example from geophysics. There is still a debate about how deep volcanism goes, if it's near surface or deep surface, and my advisor, I believe, was deep surface, And I'm sure if I would have said I wanted to study near surface volcanology, he probably would have told me that's a dumb path to follow. There's no evidence for it. And I think part of the reason why him saying that probably doesn't strike you as weird is because you guys probably don't know a whole lot about the subject, right?
Yep.
Like your preconceived biases on this don't come into play, but that stuff isn't really that uncommon.
Yep. Yeah, I guess that's fair.
So. Brenda, how are you doing today?
Hey, Brenda.
I'm doing okay. I saw this second episode of Professor Dave's earlier, and I also saw that you were reviewing my appearance with Standing for Truth.
Yep.
And whenever you do those things, I want to know where I have made mistakes. I really do. I really do. And I suspect I probably did. It got pretty heated too because they were pretty. It was pretty difficult to even get words in there. But yeah. And by the way, Allah Akbar, Shalom Aleichem, my brothers.
Hello.
Okay, who is breathing?
Oh crap! That's me. I got a new gun pot. I'll mute it. Sorry.
What?
What are you doing?
No. Mike, I'm the one who heard it go. I was like, what the hell is that?
I got some new antique firearms in, and I'm blowing off the styrofoam off of them. So, yeah, that was my bad. I'm sorry. I'll mute.
Okay, but I approve of blowing off the styrofoam of antique firearms on my channel. I do approve of that.
Yeah, but I also really yelled. I really kind of lit into jungle jargon.
I mean, it's impossible not to. Like the man is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I haven't reviewed the whole thing and timestamped the whole thing yet. I did have some timestamps from.
I'm sorry.
From John's stream. What's that?
I'm sorry. I was interrupting you, but yeah, you don't have to or anything like that. But I'm more than happy. I want to know errors and mistakes that I make.
Yep. I will review it and let you know.
And the second episode with Professor Dave is pretty sharp. Pretty sharp elbows there, Dave.
Yeah, it is. But that's kind of where we need to go to. When people are blathering misinformation, I think we need to elbow them sharply. And I think most of what Tour blathers was misinformation.
Well, I guess so. The other guy that Dave was interviewing at the very end is, I think, somebody who is directly criticized by that. I forget his name. That other person, the creationist.
Dave Stewart.
Yeah, so I think he had real cause to be upset.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see here. Where are we? Let's see who. Yeah, anyway. Okay. Moving on. So we'll review those. So we got that. And I don't know. Praise had some streams. Nephilim Free did Atheists Are Married to Fake Science, and he had Rational Empiricists on. Again, I haven't had time to review that one.
Have you gone over TJump with Praise and Gavin?
Oh, no.
Oh, that is wonderful. Gavin gets his butt kicked so fast. Oh, that is glorious, that part.
Really?
And then Praise and then Tom just hammers Praise. And Praise is just, he's just, I wanted to say, you can stop Tom. He's dead. He's dead.
It's an interesting thing. I was a couple of days ago. I was in Tang. It's run by Oz. I don't know. I was in the in that show with Tom. It was Tom. It was Otangelo. Amy Newman was there. You know what I mean? Tang.
No, I don't know which. I have no.
Well, hold on. The atheist roundtable. They have a stream.
Tart. You mean Tart?
No. It was Tart, but it was Tang.
What?
It was a different channel, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Yeah, there's more than one channel, right?
The title is wonderful. Praise.
I know.
That is a well-crafted title.
Yep. Yeah. Damn, Tom is doing good. 5,800 views. He's doing well. Yep.
Yeah, I listened to a bunch of the praise, or a good portion of the praise, but I came in right when Gavin got tossed. It was probably a minute, so I didn't get a chance to listen to how. And you said that was pretty good, listening to that part of it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I really love the title.
Yep.
Yeah. Close to 6,000 views. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So are you all vaxxed up, Brenda?
Vaxxed up. Oh, a long time ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Back in March, I had the Moderna. Antivirus back in March.
Okay, I am too. We should get together for a cup of coffee.
Yeah,
Well,
but you still have to wear masks, unfortunately.
If you're also,
Well, here in Minneapolis, it's being relaxed. I think
if you're outside, like at a coffee shop,
outdoors.
sitting outside.
If you're inside, you should still keep the distance.
Yeah, but when you're like people that are vaxxed that eat together, like I'm going out to eat tonight for the first time in a year and a half, and you don't wear masks while you're sitting down with the people you're eating with, as long as you're all vaxxed. So,
I also saw a news article that says that they don't think that you need to get they don't think they need to adjust the vaccine for the variants. And do I have that correct?
yeah.
You guys know this more than I do.
Well,
Yeah,
that
so
makes sense, because once you get vaccinated, even if there's a variant, your body will be able to recognize the protein that the variant makes. So,
well, it's possible that they could evolve sufficiently to escape the vaccine.
And that's why everybody has to get the goddamn vaccine.
But
because if that coat protein evolves, then we're fucked. Then we all need a new vaccine,
Yeah.
And if they keep passing it around like we do the flu every year, of course, the flu goes through a cycle, then COVID can easily be the end of the human race. So people that don't get vaxxed, are fucking us all. And they need to know that.
It's not going to kill off the human race.
It could. It could eliminate. It could mutate into a more lethal form that basically the vaccine doesn't cover, go right through us again and take out 90% of us. And where in the fuck would our economy be after that?
Wow.
We'd all be living in huts. So this is our test run.
I was raised on a farm. I can milk a cow.
Speed, I love you, but stop fear mongering, please.
It's not fear mongering. It's a fucking warning. And you've had a million of them. And Hollywood has been like putting out these movies. And of course, everybody thinks it's science fiction until we got a virus that spread over the entire world. I mean, take a look at what's happening in India right now, just with this virus, which is not particularly lethal. But there's no reason why this thing cannot mutate into a more lethal form. If we don't stamp it out, that's what is going to happen to it.
Well, you see the movie. What was the movie? Contagion.
The one that was done in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
That was chilling to see. Our hometown.
The only difference between COVID and that movie is the R rate, right?
Yeah. It was really high.
What does R stand for again? Remind me.
The ratio of basically.
Ratio.
Yeah.
So what is the R rate in the context of virology?
Somebody else can do that for me.
I don't.
I'm not going to attempt it. I don't know enough. But
all right. Well, but like, look, it's good to be prepared for these things. It's good to be cautious, but it's just I feel like Hollywood has unintentionally done a lot of fear mongering without meaning to.
Oh,
again,
bullshit!
It's good.
Bullshit. You think it's fear mongering? We have 8 billion people on this planet. We're flying all over. We're like a tight community. Viruses are going to fuck us if we don't learn how to deal with them, right? This is not fear mongering. This is a goddamn way the way science. It's science. Okay, look at it. It's not fear mongering. Get your vaccine, or you're fucking us all. This is your test run.
We'll
Hopefully,
talk about this later.
Hopefully, I'll be dead before it kills us all,
Yeah, well, we'll talk about this later.
or 90% of us. But no, it isn't fear mongering. Viruses are real things, and we just had an example of one that took over the entire world in what, 1 year?
Steve,
It's just like, God.
Well, Steve, do you think fear mongering applies to only unreal threats? Is that what you think? It just applies to unreal threats.
I think you should be afraid when you get into a car, right? Because car accidents are a serious possibility.
Well, fortunately for me, I can't drive.
Okay, well, fine, but you can get a virus. So just heed the warning. This is nature's way of tapping us on the shoulder and giving us a really... This was the kindest virus ever as far as the test run goes. It only killed 500,000 Americans. You know, the next one, just watch out. Get the vaccine or it's going to come back. And learn how to deal with this shit, you know? Learn how to wear masks, learn how to keep safe distancing, all of that stuff. And we got this entire, like 40% of our goddamn population is telling us it's all a conspiracy. It's like, no, people are really dying. There are people in coffins, 500,000 of them in the U.S. got buried in the
I never said it's a conspiracy, Speed. I never said it's a conspiracy.
Okay, well, what I'm telling you, that this is a kind, gentle warning from nature about what is around the bend, because there are far more lethal viruses that are possible. And they would hit us so quickly and take out a great deal of us. Fear, fear, fear. Fear is a good thing sometimes. Fear is like, you know, I mean, it's a useful emotion. Like when I start falling down the stairs, I get afraid.
Well, yeah, fear can be a good emotion, but it can also be a bad emotion that it keeps you held in place. You know, you never do anything with your life.
Well, yeah, that's exactly the opposite of the point I'm making. I'm making the point that we need to do something about this.
I know, and we're doing it.
I disagree with you, Midnight. If we had this attitude in the 50s, we would still have polio.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like people. Never mind. Moving on.
Yeah, tested. We totally failed the test. I mean, shit. You know, we could, but now we're kind of coming around to where you know, we have the vaccine, and we still have 30-40% of us that are saying, "Oh, I don't think so." It's like, fuck you, people. Like, God damn it. I mean.
Yeah, these are the people that are going to assure us from getting new strands of the virus, which are more lethal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. There's quite a few people on Praise's stream that say they're not getting the vaccine, which is really sad.
Yeah, and I have a whole bunch of relatives that are absolutely steadfastly against getting the vaccine for one dumb reason or another. Yeah. And one of them even mentioned chips being put in their bloodstream to track them.
Yeah.
While he was on his cell phone talking to me.
That's bad shit. That's bad shit crazy right there, right? I mean, that's just crazy.
Well, you only have to look at the size of the needle compared to the size of the chip.
I know. Yeah, if we make chips that small.
You do not want the needle that would be sized big enough to carry a chip. Right.
Right. Yeah. It'd be like a turkey baster. You don't want to stick that in anywhere. Anyway. Okay. Well, enough of the diatribe.
Okay. We can do something fun.
Yeah.
Like,
well, shit, you know,
listen to Tom Jump boot Gavin.
Does he boot him?
Yeah. Kicks him out. Kicks him out.
Yeah. Well, Gavin told him to shut up, right?
He didn't have control of the mute button and the StreamYard.
Yeah, the only question is, was he wearing pants?
We will never know.
That was my suggestion. Was he booted, or did he have to return the pants that he borrowed for the debate?
Yeah.
Okay, there's Gavin. So Any idea where this happens? So, okay, he's booted right there at 34. So if we play, how far back do we have to go? Like that far?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, let's give it a
probably
try.
only
A few minutes.
Probably only a few. Well, yeah, a few minutes. You'll
Okay.
see him get booted. I think he tells TJump to shut up.
Okay, you ready?
Yep. Sorry. Go ahead. Yep.
Do you understand?
Let's do this.
Do you understand?
No, you invited us.
Yes. And I can kick you whenever I want.
Go back more.
I'm going to be quiet again. You're kicked. Do you understand?
You got to go back a little more. I think. Yeah.
How about that? Try her out.
Yep.
You got to have moral autonomy. It's autonomy, a freedom condition, free will. The fact that we have free will demonstrates our point about God.
So
there's your proof.
Well, let's just go with there. Most philosophers reject the kind of free will you're talking about. Like libertarian free will is essentially a joke in philosophy. Bill Survey's paper, there's a question about free will. They literally asked this. The majority of philosophers think your kind of free will is a joke.
Nope.
Phil Survey's paper, a poll of actual philosophers, the largest poll, literally says this. You don't get an opinion on it, Praise. So your idea of free will is not what is required for morality at all in this case. So that's false.
Are you appealing to a consensus, Tom? For God's
yes,
sake?
the expert consensus is evidence. So you praise. Stop. You said philosophers think this. So I can say, no, philosophers do not think that. Here is a poll of philosophers. So
let me just say something really quick, Gavin. Let me respond to this. It's called a false consensus effect. That's
no,
like
it's not.
Praise.
Praise. If you say philosophers think this, and then I can give you a poll, the largest poll of philosophers to prove they don't, I can just prove your statement wrong. This is not about the truth claim about what
it's a cognitive
counts.
Bias, man. Like
No,
even what a cognitive bias is.
Oh my God, praise.
Look it up.
Slow down. Take this step by step. You said philosophers think this. I just proved philosophers do not think that. Yes, and I just cited the majority of them. So you cited anecdotes. I cited the majority. My stats beat yours. Philosophers do not think
No, because that's a cognitive bias. It's a cognitive bias.
No, it's not.
You can't use consensuses to prove something.
Oh my God.
You're making a claim about what a group of people think, and then I quote the majority of those people.
So how does Praise not realize that if his argument is correct, by the same logic, TJump's argument is correct? Like they both use the same logic.
I think I can explain that. According to Praise, consensus only works if they agree with Praise. That's
that's what he's saying is that if he found two philosophers that agree with Praise, and TJump found all the other philosophers agree with TJump, Praise could say, "Oh, the only reason that they don't agree with me is cognitive bias." Well, cognitive bias works both ways.
What he doesn't understand is if he had said something like, I want to defend libertarian free will, then Tom would have had a different approach.
Right.
He wouldn't have appealed to majority opinion. There's some fairly easy arguments to attack libertarian free will with.
I don't know, maybe it's just me, but Praise sounds like he's a combination of high and begging his girlfriend for sex at the same time.
Okay.
Have you noticed that in his tone? It's just please. I don't know how to put my finger on it.
Yeah, I concur. Okay, so let's see where Gavin comes in.
That proves your statement wrong. Now, this isn't about the truth of free will. That's not the point here. You made a claim about what a group of people think. There's no assumptions here, Praise. No, there's not, Praise.
I'm assuming that your citation is valid. But how do we even? We're just assuming that because we can't look it up right now. I'm gonna let Gavin go ahead. Go ahead, Gavin.
You can literally look it up right now. Just pull up the internet. Phil Survey's paper.
It must be my turn to speak. I think we should move this debate along a bit.
Yes, we're trying to. That's what we're.
It must be my turn to speak.
Exactly.
I love
so
that.
Let's move it along a bit. We're trying to compare Christian morality against secular morality, and which one is better, I guess.
Yes.
So
To do that, we have to start with epistemology.
We have, yeah. Tom, if you can be quiet, please, and let me explain.
Say that again, and
We
you're
have
gone.
provided-
Got it? Tell me to be quiet one more time. You're kicked out of the server.
Say what again?
So-
Got it? Say what again? Say what again?
Say, if you tell me to be quiet again, you're going to be kicked. You understand? Do you understand?
No, you invited us.
Yes, and I can kick you whenever I want. Do you understand? You tell me to be quiet again, you're kicked. Do you understand?
Isn't that tyrannical? Tom?
Yes, it is, and I'm perfectly happy with that.
Good.
Do you
I
understand?
love it.
Yes or no?
Okay.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now seeing a great demonstration.
Do you
of
understand? Yes or no?
atheist morality.
If you don't answer this question, I'm going to kick you right now.
demonstration.
So
Are you really,
Stop being a
Tom?
tyrant, TJump. Stop being a tyrant, buddy.
goodbye. No, you're not going to.
Okay. You know,
That is so good. That is so good.
And I've been trying to do a little more of that on my stream, because I am a tyrant, and if you call me an idiot or there's something I don't like about you, I'm gonna fucking kick you. What the hell? You get to do that. I don't know.
But by the way, I have to bring this up. So yesterday, someone linked me to the debate that Gavin had with oh damn, I forgot his name. Kid.
Randolph?
No,
Randolph
no,
Richardson?
no. The guy with the flat cap.
Flat cap.
Don't know.
Flat cap.
Yeah.
Wish I
Shit.
could help you.
Hold on. I still may have that open somewhere.
Come out like for their little avatar. Come out
Skylar
Sunflower?
Fiction. Skylar Fiction.
Oh, Skylar Fiction.
So this was a debate, and the topic was why the Christian God doesn't exist. Gavin just didn't debate. He didn't reply to anything he said, and at the end he was in the library and was asked to leave, and he didn't close his laptop because he didn't want to miss anything. So we got a tour of New Zealand while he was walking out of the library. At some point he got locked in and told people that he was locked in. I think that's
Oh my God.
the most hilarious debate I've ever seen.
Is that the one where he wasn't wearing pants?
No. He was in a public library.
That one's really old. That probably goes back over a year.
Yeah. That's a
real
really old.
Yeah.
I missed.
Time
I
flies.
missed.
Holy
I missed
crap.
that. So I put the link into the private chat here if anyone wants to see that.
That
was
one was
absolutely hilarious.
That was probably one of Gavin's first debates. Pretty close to it, right? Yeah. That
Okay,
was a joke. That was funny. That was pretty good.
I'm throwing all these videos in the description, by the way.
Yeah, I put it in the public chat as well. It was so. James tried to let Gavin reply to the things that Skylar brought up, and he just wouldn't.
Oh,
And
is this
the fun fact was Skylar kept asking him, "Do you know what an internal critique is?" And he couldn't answer.
should I call this Gavin at the library?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's in the description. So
Yeah, and I have to thank Titan Uranus for this because he brought it up yesterday while I was on a stream, and he said you need to go watch this. I was not disappointed.
Okay.
This was
We'll
a
credit
decent
him.
one. Yeah, people like Praise and Gavin. You shouldn't debate those people anymore. They're irrelevant. There's
It's kind of
no
like
way.
picking on the kids in the short bus.
it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's exactly
And-
how
and-
Jay refers to it.
and
Jay
you could
uses that
and
term.
you could make a clear point how that might be insulting to kids in the short bus. But
Well, yes, because many kids who are disabled in many different ways are not necessarily assholes.
no, I agree.
Okay,
But-
Mendel.
Yeah.
No, God, I'm still stuck on this Mendel's accountant thing. I really wish they would. they put a program out there, and they're advertising on NIH, but they won't tell you where the source code is for the program, which really kind of bothers me. And I reached out to them, and I'm hoping they'll clear this up for me. But I put the links in the description for both Mendel's account and homepage, and for the one source code listing I found on GitHub. So those are both out there. So anyway, we will get to the bottom of this because I need to know.
I think the best and the funniest part, the debate that I've seen with Praise was the one where he told the native Hebrew speaker that he knew Hebrew better.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was with Mini Karen.
Yeah, our own Mini Karen.
Yeah.
On this channel, you can find that debate.
Yes, it is. Yes, that was just dumb. It just amazing. I don't know how else.
He told Many that Many might know what the words mean, but he didn't know the grammar or this. Yeah,
something like that.
I think that's what he told me. He didn't understand the grammar, but he knew how to speak the language, and it's his native language. But he didn't understand the grammar. I think that was it. Interesting. What did I do? I think I lost you guys.
Oh, I'm here.
There was a great show. Did anybody
say something?
Did anybody see Digital Gnosis? There was a great stream yesterday, and it was a long stream. And Otangelo was on there. Yeah, Otangelo was on there with Pine Creek, and they actually had a ball. It was really funny. They did some role playing, and Otangelo switched and argued as an atheist, and a bunch of the other people in the stream, mostly Pine Creek, argued as a theist, and they did the role playing. It was pretty good. It was really funny.
You know, I gotta say, props to Otangelo for doing that. I mean, I don't know many of the other people that he hangs with would even do that. I can't imagine Maddox or Smokey or Praise or Gavin or anybody like that doing that. I think they would be afraid it would. I think they would be afraid it would jeopardize their salvation, even, wouldn't they?
Did you see what happened prior to that, though? I mean,
I did not. I came in late.
Okay. Well, what happened prior to that is they just basically tore Otangelo apart. I mean, literally, the whole room did. Tom Rabbit was in there, and they really tore him apart. And I think at that point, they were really feeling bad. And, that's just the way Doug is. Doug really wants to have fun. So he kind of come up with that idea of doing the role play. And, it just eased the tension, because basically they felt bad for Otangelo. He really took a beating.
Well, so I think that's
I
actually
would like to have a role play.
Oops, sorry, guys.
Go ahead.
What did
I would like to have a role play.
You're starting it. That's what you did.
No, what the hell?
I don't know.
What is going on?
I don't know, Boomer. Get your computer working, Boomer.
Oh, was somebody playing a soundboard?
I would like to have a role play.
Peter is on the stream.
That's Peter.
Yeah, God damn it.
Sorry, Speed.
So I think
I'm trying to shut my audio off, and it's you.
Sorry.
Anyway.
So I think it's a really good technique that Doug had of the role playing. I think that it shows both probably that Otangelo is so committed to his worldview that he, it's just not possible. But I think it could work with some people. It would just open them up, make them available, make it possible for them to think differently rather than just digging in their heels and being defensive all the time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that was a great thing, and you could see they all had a really good time. Otangelo really relaxed, and they all had a great time, and I think that's a great way of doing it. You'd like to see more theists and atheists, for that matter, do that type of thing, and that definitely would be very effective.
Yeah, I think when Dapper Dino did that thing about top creationists, I think actually Otangelo should have been on top. Cell should have been on the bottom. But where did they rate Otangelo in the
I think he was like a B, someplace
in
around.
the middle somewhere.
Well, I think you could try it with Sal, right?
No.
I don't know. No, you don't think so?
I have an opinion about Cell.
Okay.
Yeah, Speed doesn't like Sal. The rest of us do.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really care for him myself.
Yeah,
either.
well,
I think he's really disingenuous, but
can't help it if you're all wrong. But
I think that he would agree to try. I think it's possible he would agree to try.
Fun fact is that Otangelo linked me to this yesterday and said I should watch this because he thought that was a really good stream. So
see, it kind of softens things up. It kind of softens it up, makes the ground kind of soft. You got to soften your opponent first. You got to hit him, and then you got to give him time, and then you hit him again.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Otangelo's probably the only one that's willing to do that. Like you said, Brenda, I don't know if anybody else would even be willing to attempt that.
Smokey Saint would not, because he is Saint is afraid of losing his salvation. Praise is too dumb. It wouldn't be possible for him to.
Yeah.
And Maddox is smart enough to do it, but I'm not sure he would.
Maddox and SFT will only go on modern day debate where they can control the format, but other than that, they're both cowards. They won't come on to one-on-one discussions on particular topics, right? Whereas Otangelo will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see that as cowardice. And Sal Cordova is the same way. He will not put himself in a position where you're drilling into one particular argument of his. He will keep it across the top, and he'll keep it moving along. And if he Sal is interesting because if he has to, he'll agree with you, just to avoid digging into whatever he's saying about the topic. And I do not like that kind of discourse at all. Anyway,
I'll tell you, I think if Otangelo keeps doing that, keeps going on that stream, Digital Gnosis stream, and keeps doing that, he's going to convert.
You think?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know if he'll go all the way to atheist. My idea with these people that we're talking about, the thing would simply be to get away from the fundamentalism.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think at the very least, he's definitely would, do that. Like, because they're pretty convincing. I mean, Brenda, you see those streams, you got some pretty intelligent people in there and, make some good arguments.
Digital Gnosis? Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I have this hypothesis.
Speed'll like this. Yeah, that's sure. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
but holy shit, he's got 2,000 subscribers and he had 1,700 views on this stream.
Wow,
I've got this hypothesis that Otangelo may be losing his faith, and this is why he's now joined Darth Dawkins to maybe strengthen it.
That could be
just my idea, because he's pretty honest at times.
Well, the thing,
and
I think
struggling to get by with the things that he likes to talk about, because he keeps getting shut down.
You don't have to go all the way to losing your faith when you just discard the idea that evolution is wrong. I mean, you can take a different approach to it, and I suggest that Otangelo have a conversation with Saigar or somebody like that
Yeah.
I'd love to set that up. That would be a great. I
sure.
talked to Sai recently, and he said he'd come on my channel and talk.
You just got to be a Lutheran there, and you come to the basement, and you have some lemon bars and some Swedish coffee, and you just talk, and that's all you need to do there, Ole.
Brenda, you're a little closer to Fargo than I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're further north.
I have to say that was a great impression, though.
Yeah.
Sorry.
God, there's this. My sons had this. This girl was their friend back when they were teenagers. We haven't heard from her since, but her mom lived in Western Minnesota, and she used to imitate her mom. And her mom actually talked like that, like really, literally talk like they do in Fargo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't total. It wasn't totally made up. And then if you go to Fargo, like Fargo itself, which is actually in North Dakota, some people actually talk like that. Not in the city, but in the outlying areas. And it is kind of amazing to listen to. But,
I love the Ole and Lena jokes.
oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do they know the Ole and Lena jokes?
I don't know. I'm not sure if I think outside of Minnesota, maybe not. I'm not sure.
You know, Ole was on his deathbed, and he was close to dying away, and he crawled out. He smelled some Lena in the kitchen making cookies, and so he crawled out of his bed, and he crawled down the stairway, and then he crawled over to the table, and he pulled himself up and reached for a cookie, and Lena turns around and says, "Stop that! That's for the funeral."
Yeah, we had a lot of those up north. I remember something about cheese in the shithouse, and
I don't remember that one.
Making cheese in the shithouse or some fucking thing. I don't know. I'm not going to try to repeat it.
But. Some of them are pretty risque. So, yeah.
Yeah, somebody got confused between putting milk in the shit house or putting shit in the milk house. I think it was something like that.
There was
pretty
another,
good cheese, Oli.
There was another good stream or a good argument over the weekend. I don't know if anybody saw it. I believe it might have been on Mad X's channel. Speed, you remember the guy Redefined his name? Redefine Living, is it? Sam, his name is. You had him on this channel. Oh, this is going back a while ago.
Redefine Living.
Yeah. And his actual name is Sam. He's on Praise's channel and Maddox's channel all the time in the chats.
I had him on?
Yeah, you had him on this channel this is going a while back. I don't know, to be honest, I don't know exactly how long ago it was, but you did have for some reason, I forget what was going on at that time. I don't know. Somehow we coaxed him on. He's not one that goes to an atheist channel type person, right? And I think you may have invited him on and he came, I believe. It was, like I said, it was a while ago. This was probably at least a few months ago, maybe even long. I don't recall exactly when it was, but he was on over the weekend.
My mind's in the gutter already, David. If you say you invited him on the channel and he came.
Yeah. Well, that's
bad choice of words.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. I'm sorry, your mind is in the gutter, Peter. But
it always is.
You sound more like a Christian that I know. There's one Christian I know that's like that. But
yeah.
Anyway, this guy, Sam, his name is. He was on, I believe, Mad X's channel, and he got in a little mini debate with the kid's name was Frankie something. I don't know that kid, and he's like an agnostic, and I don't really know him. And he had a little mini debate with him, and it was quite hilarious because Sam is so terrible. And he tries to do the Darth Dawkins type argument, the first cause type. Yeah.
Wasn't that recent, or was that J. Robin we had on?
Yeah, no, Sam, this guy that I'm talking about, Redefine, he was on here a long time ago. Like I said, it was, and for some reason, I don't know, I think he caught your eye or something, or there was something that was going on way back, and I think you invited him on, and he came on.
Okay.
A stream. And like I said, it was quite a while ago.
I'll check this out.
I think you liked his, there was, way back then when this happened, I think there was a lot of kind of like a little bit of response videos back and forth going on at that time. This is going back months ago, and he, for some reason, came up, and you invited him on, I believe, and he actually came.
Yeah. I don't remember waking up this morning, so.
Right. But yeah, I would just point, I didn't know if anybody saw that. I believe it was on Maddox's channel, and he's just so poor, and his arguments are so bad because he tries to do a mixture, and he tries to do the first cause type thing and all that, and his argument is so bad. I didn't know if anybody saw that. I think it was on Maddox's, I believe.
I will put him on my radar again. You saw this recently?
Yeah, it was on. I believe it was on over the weekend. It might have been Saturday night, possibly. I'd have to go look. I didn't timestamp it. I could probably go and find it if you wanted to. It was pretty. Like I said, he's really bad at it. You know what I mean? And like I said, you had him on, I think, on this stream, like I said, and I think the reason why you had him on is because his argument was so bad, and you wanted to have a little chat with him, and he did come on. And I think I was there that day. I think I might have been on the stream possibly, and his his argument.
Yeah, see if you can find it for me. I think that's on that current 6-hour stream that SFT clipped Brenda and Rational Empiricist from. I think it's kind of the history of it. So Brenda left. I wanted to ask her about more about it. I really need to review that Eric Murphy thing too, and I think I don't even know where the hell it is anymore, but we'll have to look at it. Anyway, okay. So somebody the other day, my sister was watching the stream, and she said somebody in chat got really mad at me because I wasn't paying attention to chat. Do you know who got mad at me?
Oh,
I don't know, somebody. But anyway, I'm really sorry if I'm not paying attention to chat, but I'm updating video descriptions. I'm pulling up, everything you guys are talking about. Give me a fucking break. I mean, I can't watch chat. I cannot read all of chat. I do not read all of chat. If you if you put my name in over and over again, then I will notice it eventually. But okay.
Yeah. All right. So this stream that I'm talking about, I actually have it. It's John Maddox's stream. It's his most recent, I believe. This was the title of it is Live Sneak Peek James Tour Interview, Hovind versus Bitterman After Show. So I think that's his latest video, but I actually have it up, and I don't know if you got nothing else, we should probably listen to it. I actually got it on here, and I didn't timestamp it, but I actually have it on. Yeah, it's that one. And if you go way back, if you go to like right around the 155, but I think I'd have to check. It would be before that when the argument actually starts, and it's pretty good. I wished I timestamped it because you would probably laugh at the.
Oh, Redefine Living Sam. Yeah, if we can find it, but.
Yeah, that's him. That's him right there. Like I said, I wished I timestamped, but he has a mini debate with the kid up in the far right corner there. What is it, Frankie something?
Frank's 92.
Yeah.
So Frank's 92 is an atheist. Oh, by the way, I called Red Fang a Christian the other day. I confused his icon with who the fuck is it?
Oh, it's Slim.
Veckel or something on here. So tell me about Veckel. What is the deal with Veckel? He's like a Christian, right?
I believe he's a Calvinist.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah. Yeah.
I think their icons are similar. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
So
he's
Frank's-
right in line. Veckel is like right in line with like Jill. They're buddies, you know. Jesus is Lord Jill, you know him. Those two are buddies. Yeah, Veckel's been around for a long time. He's a devout Christian, that's for sure. And I'm pretty sure Calvin.
Okay, so who argued GE and didn't even know properly what it was? Mutation accumulation equals GE. Oh, Sam? Was he talking about Sam? So who's Dessel referring to here, Scott? Professor Scott.
Professor. Wannabe Professor Scott. Let me pull up Dessel real quick. I had a query window open. To Sam. I don't know what Sam that is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Redefine living.
Yeah, that's his name. You can see it. It's on his icon there, or it says Sam on there. That's his. I think that's his real name. But like I said, you did have him on here, but it was quite a while back.
Yeah, I'm kind of vaguely remembering it now. It's
and I
coming
think
out of the cobwebs.
This is his argument. Like this argument that he has is kind of his go-to. It's kind of like the first cause, kind of like the Kalam, basically. But he's so bad at it. Like it's, and of course this kid Frank, whoever, I don't know that guy. He wasn't very. He didn't stand up to him. Basically, he just kind of went with the flow with the argument. So he could have, Sam's arguments are just really poor.
We play a little bit and see if we can find it. Maybe?
Yeah, listen, yeah. Like I said, I have it up too, and I didn't timestamp it, but I've got it on 155, but it's prior. I'd have to listen to it a little bit. What are you on now?
154.53.
All right, play a little bit of that, and then let's hear it. That's probably started in it, and then maybe we can go back to start it.
Okay.
Or try to suggest that you're a bad person at all. But all I'm saying that is nobody cares. Politely, respectfully, nobody cares. Because your opinion is not, all right, unless you are
Speed, stop it there for a minute. Go back some more. I'm going to say go back. I would say at least maybe go back 4 minutes at least, and it's probably about where it starts, and that'll at least get us most of the, he's kind of in the meat of his argument, probably in that area, and then listen to that.
Back 4 minutes. Okay, let's see.
Yeah. Try that.
48, 49.
The better of the people that are going to be surviving. It's not going to be you or me, right? But so again, did your subjective
further back?
Yeah, go a little more. Yeah, go back another, say, 3 minutes or so.
Like for you to demonstrate how anything can be wrong and how anything can be true.
Well, we can determine what's right and wrong based on our intuition.
Okay.
And logic is a language. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt you, and I would like to give you all the time you want. But you just said that we can determine how something can be based on intuition. You're going to try to establish a sense of morality. So I would like to try to develop that with you right now. So whose intuition ultimately determines what is and is not good or bad, right and wrong, etc.? Whose intuition?
We all have intuitions. We all have different intuitions, and as a collective unit.
You see what the trick is here? Whose intuition is going to determine what's right and wrong for all of us, right? So they basically conflate, intuitive morality. We all have an intuitive sense of morality, but they sort of imply that everybody's intuitive sense of morality is going to be different and that it's random and it's not based on anything, right? Which is not the case. So anyway, this is a morality discussion, but there's a difference between, there's also the possibility that all of us have a very similar intuitive sense of reality as human beings, and that we all just get along. And as it turns out, we actually all do just get along. I was at a shopping mall today, and there were probably about 100 people milling around. Nobody was killing each other. That's what I noticed. So anyway, but we're not at the. So are you talking about? Does he get into a genetic entropy argument here?
See, you may have to, if you really want to get into his, I think we'd have to go further back where he starts it. He starts off with the Kalam, basically, first cause. You know, he's actually, you know, and it's so bad. And this is, they were, you know, doing a little mini debate here for quite a while, you know, probably went on for 20 minutes at least. But like I said, the first part, this is the morality part. You'd have to back it up. I'd love to. I wished I time stamped it. I would love to go back to the first cause, because he was so bad. You know, his argument was pretty poor. And like I said, this kid didn't really push back hard at all. You know, he just kind of answered the questions.
But is he later talking about genetic entropy, or did I misread something from 155?
He may have gotten into that. I'm wondering if I even listened that far into it. I might not have even gotten that far into it, possibly.
I don't know. Which way you want to go? What do you want to do?
Go back another 5 minutes and play that.
It's a little hard to do that when its stream is so long.
You can either accept or you can deny, but there is no middle ground. There is no I don't know. You see, there's the Christian worldview, and then there is the non-Christian worldview. So if I ask you if you there is a God or it does not.
Yeah, this is...
See, God is all present. He's everywhere. He's all knowing. He's all powerful. That means that you cannot deny God. So there is, so like a light switch that can be either on or off, you can either accept or you can deny.
And you understand that's begging the question. This either or thing between the Christian God or all other worldviews, right? They're trying to put them on equal footing.
Yep.
And they are not. The Christian worldview is one tiny little possible metaphysic, and the rest of all the other metaphysics are, you know, anyway, there is no fucking either or.
Yeah.
So that's one trick that they use.
Yeah. And this is, like I said, his arguments are really bad. This is part of it. And then, yeah, like you said, there's no middle ground. And it's funny, Frank kept answering. He kept saying, I don't know. But, and here he is trying to push the friggin' Darth Dawkins. Either you accept it or you don't, well, you know. Yeah. So that's what I mean. It's a poor Darth Dawkins argument, and this is into it a little bit, but yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, gee, on your channel 2 to 3 months ago. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to go find that. I don't know. God, I wonder, does anybody have any more clues on the stream? Because I've got like 500 videos or 600.
There is no middle ground. There is no I don't know. You see, there's the Christian worldview, and then there's the non-Christian worldview. So if I ask you if your life that you lead and your belief system and your flow of logic and everything is consistent with the Christian worldview, you would either say yes or you would say no. And so because you do not say yes, do you say yes?
I
then
say
your
no.
answer would be no.
Right,
So
right. But okay, can I have?
I'm not allowing a middle ground because it is either.
Can I literally not understand or not that I don't understand, but not have the knowledge to make a determination at this point in time?
No.
How so?
Because that is an answer against God.
No, it's not, because I'm not saying I don't believe in God. I'm not saying I deny God.
Because let me ask you again. Is your worldview the Christian worldview or not?
It is not the Christian worldview.
Okay, so then you've made a decision. You've made a choice. And so I would like to know, since you cannot use the scientific method, so you said, to come to that conclusion, then I would like to know how did you come to the conclusion?
Now, isn't that interesting how you made a choice against the Christian worldview, so now it's your job to prove that the Christian worldview is not valid. When this Frank guy is trying to tell him, no, I'm agnostic, I justify my belief based on lack of evidence. But they keep trying to push him into this, hard atheist position where he's going to prove that God doesn't exist.
Right.
So if you don't accept it, you have to prove that God doesn't exist, right?
Right. Right. This is just basically a poor man's version of Darth Dawkins is what he is.
Yeah.
I think he's a follower, and or at least somewhat. But yeah, his whole argument was all basic, and it's real bad. It's real poor. I mean, some of the stuff he says in this is unbelievable.
Hey, Jefferson, did you fall asleep on us the other night?
I did. I think that was actually Friday night. I can't remember which night it was.
Yeah, we said hi to you, and you didn't say a damn thing. You hit the mute button as if to say, "Shut the fuck up! I'm trying to rest." even though I clicked on the link to come into this stream.
Yep. Okay, so play more of this.
It's a recurring event. Jefferson should just start naming his streams. Come watch me go to sleep.
Yeah, watch me nap.
Yeah.
No, well, I apologize for that one. I don't know what I'm doing.
If it was a safe space for you to where you felt like you could settle down and rest, then I'm glad we were there for you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
it. If you can fall asleep during one of my shit shows, I feel that I've accomplished something with this channel. So if it's a safe place for you, so that's good. So should I play more of this crap, or what do you?
I wanted to make a quick point. If these apologists don't want to come across as dishonest, maybe don't demand someone disprove a quote unquote worldview that you've just insisted is absolutely necessary for the foundation of reality.
Right.
just a basic pointer, like, oh yeah, you've just explained how it can't possibly be falsified. Now you're demanding that the atheist falsify, and the idea,
right.
Like, well, you can't deny it. Yeah, of course you can. Well, that'd be irrational. It sure would. Next. So what? I don't know where they're gonna go with that. Like, well, you're gonna make it mad. Make what mad? The thing that I don't think exists. Try again. Like,
yeah, that's him. That's pretty much him. Yep.
Well, you'll notice with Darth Dawkins that he first starts out, he doesn't mention God exactly, or he doesn't mention God with a mind, but he defines God as the necessary grounding of all reality. And he could say cosmos instead of God, right? So he's attributing the entire cosmos, and then about halfway through he'll start putting in God and mind God, and you don't even notice how subtly he does it.
Yeah, if it's not a mind, then that's equally impossible, because then he'll say all you're doing is pointing out an abstract set of things. Like, okay, so when you defined your minimalist God was a bag of metaphysical nonsense, that's somehow not an abstract set of,
right?
It's the grounding for all possibility and like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
But you want to try to say that those aren't properties. Like, oh no, they're facets of a simplistic God. Like, you can't possibly know that.
Well, he insists that it's the absolute, or it's not a particular, it's the universal. So God is the universal. And then he talks about a set of all particulars. But he will insist his God is the universal. But then when he was pressed, I had that clipped, and I was gonna get into that. But when he was pressed on universals and particulars, he admitted that he was not well read enough about it, because Argatha was asking him questions about it, and it was on one of Praise's streams, and Darth really kind of faltered a little bit there for a few moments.
Well, he got into like he was going after somebody because he decided that he was going to argue. He asked this person, "Do you know the difference between asserting a simple God or a complex God?" Right? And so for Darth, he believes in a simple God. And in basic theology, a simple God basically means it doesn't have any real moving parts. It just is, right? And so if you're one of these certainty buffs, everything's got to be, God's got to be absolute. The simple God works better, because a complicated God could have things that aren't necessarily attached to it. That creates philosophical issues. So he likes to go with the simple one. But then at the same time, a lot of the stuff that the arguments that he's making from contingency about contingent facts, he's kind of arguing a God that's a bundle of properties that are non-causal. So he's like shifting into different ontological views just to suit his purpose. When he tells somebody like Argatha that he doesn't know he's not totally with it on universals. Like, I have no problem believing that. But when you're screaming at somebody because they're not getting ontology right, you're using that ontology to yell at them because God must be simple. And then you turn around and do a contingency argument where all facts must be contingent. He's getting himself into real trouble. Like, I don't know if he's read Alvin Plantinga's like takedown of like the god of contingent facts or whatever, but he needs to like maybe take a look at that.
Yeah. So I put that Redefine Living Deso found it on our channel here, and I put it in the description in case we have to refer to it in the future, and I will take a look at it. So, okay, what are we doing?
It's up to you. It's your channel. I'm just trying to help out a little bit. This is really good. I mean, well, go ahead.
Okay, we can move on.
Yeah, I'll be taking off in a few minutes because I'm just on kind of a last minute break, so I'll be here for about another 10 minutes tops, and then I'll go. But
okay, should we play a few more minutes of this?
Sure. Yeah, I'm game.
Okay.
Conclusion that there is no God.
Sure.
How did you come to the conclusion that the Christian worldview is not the right worldview?
Okay, now that I can answer. I believe that the palm of evil is probably the most, like, it's probably one of the biggest reasons I left Christianity, because I used to be a young earth creationist when I was in my younger days. So I would say the palm of evil is definitely up there.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If there is no God, how can there be a problem with evil? Evil only exists if the Christian God is true. If the Christian God is not true, then there is no evil.
Oh, that's bad.
It's like when people worship Satan, right? And they think it's funny. Satan can only be true if the Christian worldview is true. And if the Christian worldview is true, then Satan loses, and they've been deceived according to the scripture, which validates Satan. And in that same way, I understand your argument.
But do you understand that?
Sure, but what I'm saying is the argument of evil fails because you only have an argument of evil if the Christian worldview is true, and if the Christian worldview is
holy shit, really?
No, that's not the problem of evil. The problem of evil isn't that the fact that there is evil. The problem is, how does evil exist in a world created by an omnibenevolent, all-powerful, all-knowing being?
Right.
That's the problem. It's the contradiction that might be entailed in that relationship, not whether or not evil can actually be around or not.
So now that's an awake Jefferson right there. That's an awake guy.
Yeah, awake guy. Awake Jefferson. We like that.
So what does evil mean to you guys?
Evil? Ted Bundy.
I mean, real
country music
description, real life description, not what you think is evil.
A real life description of evil. It's a feeling you get when you're around something that is just totally fucked up and wrong, and you know it's wrong, and you're at your very core, and you get this creepy evil feeling. Like, that's evil. I don't know. It's a feeling.
Sam basically calls this kid a piece of shit if he doesn't believe in the Christian worldview, and then he kind of backpedals and says, "Oh I didn't mean that you were a bad person or anything like that, but it's so bad I couldn't believe it listening to this."
Yeah. For me, evil is doing wrong, especially continuously. To the person, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, and then they're going to ask you what does wrong mean. Mostly, morality is based on intuition and feelings, as far as
like taboos and stuff people think other people have.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an example of when I run into pure evil.
But they're using like their version, like an imaginary, like it's an entity or something.
I have a real person,
like a gremlins or something.
I have a real personal story of what I thought was pure evil, and I saw it in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest as well. If you watch that movie, that Nurse Ratched is pure evil. Yep. Well, I was basically I had a meltdown where I was trying to hurt myself, and I was hauled into an emergency room. And I was at the very bottom. I was at the very bottom of the barrel as far as addiction and drinking was. And I did not want another drug in my system at that point. but they had me strapped on a gurney. And this nurse came up to me and told me she was going to give me Thorazine. And I said, no, I don't want any more drugs. I don't want any more drugs. And she smiled at me and she injected me with this creepy smile on her face. And to me, that was pure fucking evil. And then they kept me in the hospital and kept me stoned for like 3 days after that. They kept injecting me over and over again. And these AA guys finally broke me out. They actually broke me out of the hospital. They came and got my clothes, and they ushered me out, some side door. It was amazing, but they would have kept me. That was pure evil. It's Nurse Ratched kind of thing. When somebody is like, "Oh, this is for your own good," and they're doing something to you that you do not want at all, that you hate. Anyway, I don't know if that makes any sense, but I can't think of any other pure evil I've run into. Danny. Hi, Danny.
Here's
see you,
pure
Danny.
evil. Here's pure
That-
evil. No, I'm just kidding.
That was on cue.
I can't think of an example of pure evil when Danny pops into the room. It's like,
I do not think Danny is an example of pure evil.
no, I don't either. Actually, Danny, I do not.
We don't.
Danny's a great.
Aw,
Danny
man,
is a great guy.
I failed then.
Yeah, you failed, Danny. You should have had your
the example of pure reason.
pure reason. Yeah,
Oh God. Oh, you mean
or
like
reason
the
gone
Kantian,
wrong.
You mean the Kantian notion of pure reason?
Sure, why not?
Oh, that I don't. That's a bunch of gibberish.
Danny, I think you're an example of reason gone wild. There's a documentary on that filmed in Florida.
That's right. I used to see the commercial to order tapes a while back.
Yep. Okay.
What about my reasoning? This is more interesting.
I just had this weird mental image of these like nerdy philosopher guys running through like South Beach, like exposing themselves for bees.
That is exactly the image I was trying to put out there. Thank
Shouting
you.
philosophical slogans at strangers and then flashing them like.
Yeah. Pure reason gone wild. I love it. Okay. We're going to move on here a little bit.
You get pine
God,
trees.
this is
That's why people hate philosophy right here. These obnoxious guys on South Beach. Sorry.
Yeah, exposing themselves. Yeah, like old philosophers.
Thrusting their philosophy and other things at people,
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to play a little more. What do you think? I think I backed up a little bit.
Date Satan. And in that same way, I understand your argument.
But do you understand that?
Sure, but what I'm saying is that argument of evil fails because you only have an argument of evil if the Christian worldview is true, and if the Christian worldview is true, then you do not have an argument of evil.
What the fuck? That was
Well,
really bad.
I can do an internal critique, and I can say, if I'm a Christian and this is what I believe, then if evil exists, then the God that I worship would not be worth worshiping because of the evil that exists in the world.
Okay, let me explain why that fails. Because the only way you can come to that conclusion is if you can prove without a doubt that this evil exists for whatever reason is not ultimately a part of God's greater plan. So if you cannot demonstrate that the evil that exists is ultimately not part of a greater plan, then your argument falls there also.
I would add,
from just one more second. If you are to say that this is an internal critique, we would not say that. We would not say that within the Christian worldview. So that's not an internal critique.
I'm still trying to figure out why this guy is missing the whole internal critique part. Like, if the guy's like, from your perspective, from a Christian perspective, God, there's a problem of evil when it comes to the God as defined in Christian theology. And he's like, no, you have to prove that it's wrong first. Like, no, part of the evidence for why it seems like it's contradictory is the relationship between the existence of evil and this being at the same time. I would ask him, hey, is it always the case or ever the case that the ends justify the means? Because it kind of sounds like your God is operating under that moral framework.
Right.
Well, how does evil exist? It's a subjective thing.
One of my favorite the ones that I like the most is where they say it's evil is like it's like the absence of God, and I'm like, okay, how does one define an absence of God when God is omnipresent? absolute and immutable? How do you have an absence of him enough to have evil pop up? Like, oh, well, it's from free will then. Like, oh, so is free will an act of is that part of an absence of God? Do people have the ability to push an omnipresent being out of out of a pocket of the universe enough to create a zit of evil in it or something? Like, how does this work? It makes no sense.
Who's claiming that something is evil or someone?
Well, that's the thing. God clearly is, right?
But
If you're doing an internal critique, evil is determined by God, right? And as Christians, you just you don't have to really try to, especially if you're like a divine command theorist, you don't really have to suss it out. Evil is what God says is evil. That's it. It's whatever he commands is evil. Don't do that. Do what he says.
It's what other people wrote down in a book.
Unfortunately, sometimes God tells certain people that he's gone in agreements with to kill other people.
If you want to take
considerable believers off.
If you want to take this stuff,
evil.
If you want to take this stuff literally, I don't think you have to go any further than Adam and Eve eating the fruit, and then all hell breaking loose for all of the world. Right?
I tied up. It was either Jesus is Lord or praise. Maybe I was talking to them both. But I was asking them, I'm like, so what was it? Was it the fact that she ate the apple, or was the fact that she could choose to eat the apple? What was the sin? Oh, it was the fact that she chose it. I'm like, then why was she condemned for eating it? If there was no sin, how was she able to do this?
Right. Actually, Speed, you can go before that. I take I think the argument extends to the possibility of evil. On the problem of evil, also that's to say the problem of evil also applies that even if there's a possibility of evil, then God doesn't exist. So you could actually have a world in which there's no evil, but if evil is possible, then God doesn't exist.
Yeah,
Jefferson, we got a question for you. When you bring up Eve eating from the fruit, what is it that Eve gains after having eaten from the fruit, most from Christians?
Knowledge, right? Of good and evil?
That's an interesting question because it depends. Like, I've heard different Christians, and I've asked them questions this before. Like, they'll be like, "Oh, well, they gain a knowledge of good and evil," but most of them, several of them, have like shame. They recognize that they're naked and they're ashamed.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever considered that if Eve actually gained the knowledge of good and evil and then made the decision to have Adam eat from the fruit as well?
Right.
Excuse me.
So we're talking about the Bible again, and Speed's getting edgy.
So why are people thinking that the Adam and Eve would be ashamed?
Yeah, sorry guys, I gotta jump on here real quick, but thanks for having me on for a few minutes.
Otangelo just walked in the room, so that was.
So why would people?
We'll see you, Jeff. Urson.
Yeah.
Jeff Urson. We'll see you.
I'll be in the live chat listening in.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Okay, why would people think that Adam and Eve would be ashamed of their nudity if they're people nowadays that live just fine in like groups and stuff that do the
They should visit
all the time.
Germany. They should visit Germany. Nudity is not a problem there.
Yeah,
Not
so
even in
why
a
would
public
Adam
park.
and Eve, before we had clothes, would think that it was a problem?
Makes you think, is Germany actually Eden? Just curious.
Primates have developed a whole weird relationship with sexuality as probably out of necessity, sort of, or something almost genetically ordained. And we are really fucked up when it comes to sex. I mean, it triggers all sorts of deep, deep underlying emotions that make us hurt people. There's aggression. I mean, it's just a mess, and it somehow has to do with visual signaling, which is nudity. But when you cover it up and then suddenly reveal it, then it becomes sinful, right? Or it
That's
becomes
taboo.
Yeah, it becomes taboo. But it's because it's taboo that you react to it. If you live in a nudist colony for a long time, I'm pretty sure you would become numb to it entirely, and
just
you would
having
no
no
longer.
shoes.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Yeah, people get afraid of seeing feet sometimes because just
But anyway,
not used to it.
What I like is the metaphor of basically eating the apple and getting knowledge of good and evil, and suddenly realizing that they're going to die, that there's just like it's a parable about humans having the ability to think about themselves and their future, and understanding that they are going to die, understanding that things could be better, whereas most animals or most mammals even only deal with what is in the present. They don't deal with their death in the future like we do. And I think that was what the original meaning of the people that wrote that were brilliant poets who wrote a story about man having the ability to see his future and to understand that we can die, or that we could be better, or whatever, having that extra cognitive pathway. And that's what it was about. And it became, some people believe it literally. Some people, maybe even people in this room, there is possibility that some of us believe it literally. So anyway.
Well, Speed, so you brought that up. So a friend of mine used to be an ice cream vendor, and he worked on a nudist colony for a long time. And so I asked him at some point, I said, has anything changed since you started selling ice cream in a nudist colony? And he said, and I said, what? He said, I said, you need to speak better because I have no clue what you're saying. So he said, I got to keep my change somewhere, don't I?
Okay, that's a good one.
So if you run out of something, his Kalam argument is at 129. If you want to listen to that, it's pretty bad, but it's up to you. You can do whatever you want. Speak.
Hey, did y'all catch Shannon Q talking to Alex Malpass about the Kalam last night?
No.
Yes, I listened to that today. Yes,
I listened to parts of it. I'm gonna watch it from the beginning, but that should be interesting.
You got a link?
I can get one.
Thank you. You know how I love them links. 129.
Yeah, that's right at the beginning. This is right when he starts off his little debate here, and like I said, his arguments are.
Speed, I got a question. Can you make Otangelo big? Because I'd like to see what it says on his profile picture.
Okay, I can try to make Otangelo bigger. Oh, I know. It says atheism refuted. That's cool.
Yeah.
How do you refute something that doesn't care about theism?
How do you refute a non-claim?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, clearly he thinks it's a claim.
Yeah. Otangelo, do you want to do some role playing again today?
I would like to have a role play.
Cool. The link to Shannon Q's discussion is in the private chat.
Thank you. I'll put it in the description. Okay, and I will check it out later because we got too many things going on, and it's almost 4 o'clock. How about that?
Well, this has gone by quick. You guys have been very entertaining and engaging today.
Yes.
I'll be the evil
Yes,
one, Speed. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett is not evil.
Speed said he was. Country music, remember?
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't
we
think
can hear you.
Yeah, now we can.
Angelo's talking.
Oh, Lori, you want to have a role play? I would like to have a
I
role
was wondering
play.
if you
Okay,
did.
okay. I just want you to
You
know
want to
that
be
this
that? You want to
channel.
do the?
Okay, this channel is not about sexual antics or anything like that. So I don't know what you have in mind, Otangelo, but go ahead.
Well, what do you have in mind? I don't
Not
understand.
that.
Steve.
No, not what I just referred to.
well, can you Speed? Can you be more clear? I don't understand what is in your mind.
We're thinking atheist versus creationist, that kind of role play. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Otangelo,
we're not going to dress
during
up.
your role play on DOS Discord server, please teach him a little bit about the sense of humor. He doesn't seem to have that. You need to teach him some.
Yeah. I was just suggesting earlier, Otangelo, that you go and talk to some old Earth creationists about and get with try to understand. Try to understand their faith or Swami Das or whatever, so that you get another view of Christianity without denying evolution.
Well,
but that was just a personal suggestion.
Well, you don't know that I was actually an old Earth creationist.
Yeah, we want you back again. Old Earth creationism wants you back. They sent me an email. They said we want Otangelo back.
I am really fine with old Earth creationism. I think there are many good reasons to hold that view. I am not opposing it at all. If someone is an old Earther, I can fully understand it because I was one. So.
I think what Speed is actually trying to say is that you can accept evolution and still be a Christian, which is what Zygarde has done.
Well, I actually accept evolution, Peter. It depends only what you mean by evolution.
Mini evolution. You accept mini evolution.
Just what the theory of evolution states.
Okay,
I just there's only one
the
definition
change of
for
allele frequencies.
Yeah, in a population.
I have a point of moderation here. I have my mouse pointer on Peter's mute button because I don't want to treat Otangelo unfairly. Okay, I just want no. Keep that in mind.
I'm the last one who's going to treat Otangelo unfairly, and Otangelo, I think he knows it.
I mean, as far as over talking and stuff like that.
So Otangelo, you seem to have a great time doing that role play thing. What did you think of that?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, looked good. We should.
I haven't watched it yet, Otangelo. I did open it, the link you sent me yesterday, and I am going to watch it, but I didn't have time.
And I linked it in my description, I believe. Yeah, I did. I called it, what did I call it? Redefine Living? No. What did I call it? Otangelo on Digital Gnosis. So it's in the description of this video. There's a whole bunch of stuff in this description of this video if you guys ever need to refer back.
No, Lori,
I think it was a great.
I listened. Lori, I listened to the earlier conversation at this stream, and you said that they were owning me, something like that. I think you said until they.
Yeah, well, that's my opinion. I mean, earlier on in that stream, they were kind of all over you on quite a few things, and they were kind of ganging up on you a little bit, and I thought you struggled a little bit. And then Doug's a great, I mean, you know how Doug is. I think he's a great guy. He likes to, have fun and joke a little bit. And, he changed it over and said, let's do some role playing. And he had you do the atheist role play, and it just lightened everything up in the room. And you guys had a great time, right? Would you agree with that? Or?
Yes, actually, I had I think it was the second interaction with Tom Rabbit, and he is really eagerly to confront me, okay? And that is what he tried again in this stream. And I think he actually had a point, but I wasn't, because then other topics came up and so forth. But it was something which he brought up, which is something which I think he is right, actually. I mean, he brought up, so is God either necessary, or if he is not necessary, then it's just about probability.
Right,
Do you
right.
do you
And
remember that?
right, yeah,
And
absolutely. And Danny tried to, discuss or tried to use, came up with something to about the necessity thing there, right? Danny, you were there. Are you listening, Danny?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
I mean,
Danny,
I think maybe I have not yet figured out that precise issue, because if you know, I am coming from an evidential apologetics approach,
right,
where I
right, yep,
always started with the thing. Let's start with the neutral position, and then let's figure out by Bayesian probability what is more likely, either a god or not, and that
right,
of course is confronts the presupposition where you start with saying God is necessary. And
right. And you don't seem to do that. I mean, they tried to pin you down on that.
And if you have seen me when I have been at Dart's Discord channel, then of course these are two different approaches. Either you start with the pre-sub approach, or you start with the evidential apologetics approach and Bayesian probability or abductive reasoning to the best explanation. You cannot have it both. And I think maybe I have not yet digested that, how I can proceed from there. I cannot have it. I mean, I try to combine both arguments, and sometimes in a debate with someone, I was using both approaches, and I think I have to figure out in regards of that. So I actually agree with that criticism. It is something to think about. That.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the evidential argument works. So
I mean, the thing is, I don't like how the motivation behind Tom Rabbit, because he comes in a very implicitly hostile way at me, and I don't like that. But I think constructive criticism is always welcome, and I think it's something I have to figure out. These approaches and where I stand in that, and if it's even possible to use both.
Well, Darth would say no. Darth hates the evidential, right?
Yep.
But he uses also evidential arguments, and he says it is part of the pre-sub approach also. And sometimes he understands a little bit about DNA and so forth, and he brings that up sometimes. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it all depends on what his interlocutor's answers are, really, on which direction he goes.
Yeah,
but
when I was a Christian, I asked Darth why not evidentialism, and he told me evidentialism was not biblical.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Which is kind of weird, because that's literally what he does with his interrogation. He wants you to acknowledge the evidence for God, and still says that he doesn't hold to evidentialism. It doesn't line up with being a presuppositionalist.
Well, he'll go down that route, like if you watch his stuff, with people that are what I would call amateurs, and depending on what their answers are, he'll go down that route, but he's not going to go down that route that with anybody that's sophisticated in philosophy. He won't, he'll stick with that, or his presuppositional stuff. But people that are less skilled, he'll go down the evidential route.
Well, I still think that it depends what we are talking about. If we are talking, for example, about the probability of life coming from non-life by unguided means, then you can compare God and not God. What are the probabilities of random unguided events to bring forward life? And of course, when you take the God stance, then the probability is 1 because God, as an intelligent being, has the power and intelligence to instantiate that. But if you take another argument, like taking the pre-sup approach or ontological arguments, then you start with the argument that God is a necessary being, and there is no probability that God is not there, that naturalism can be true.
But why
Maybe.
do probabilities matter? Because let's say we take the probability that I'm going to win $100 million in the lottery. The probabilities of that happening are extremely low. So what if I now win $100 million in the lottery? Does that mean that I haven't won because the probabilities wouldn't justify me winning that?
It would mean, Peter, that the more unlikely by random chance it is that the universe and life comes by natural unguided means, the less warranted the materialistic claim is.
I don't even know how you can use. How can you even use probability when you only have a sample of one? You only have a sample of one Earth. You have a sample of one universe. So the probability, you don't have anything to compare it with.
There is a fallacy in what you're just saying, Lori. The thing is that even if we have just one universe, we can calculate the odds to have a life-permitting universe and to have life. And based on that number, you can say it is likely that life came by natural means, or eventually an intelligent mind at the bottom which instantiated it all is a more likely explanation.
But I think
look
the
at
question,
the solar system,
what
though.
do you base your odds on if you only have one example? What do you base your
No. The thing is, Peter, that we know the odds to have the cosmological constant. All these fine-tuned parameters, they are calculated. We know what the odds are in regards of each of the constants. And if you sum them,
it depends on how you approach it. If you're going to approach it from the top down, or if you're going to approach it from the bottom up.
The fine-tune argument is very simple, Peter. You have a range of possibilities, and in that range, just one specific outcome permits to have life. And you can calculate what these odds are. And that's what you work with.
Yeah, but if I go the other way around, we have one universe, and we're here. So if the universe is entirely natural, there's a chance of 100% that could have happened because we're here.
That's the big if. You cannot put the cart in front of the horses. You want to try to figure out what is the best explanation. You don't start with the given. Peter, you don't start with the given that the universe is natural. You start with the given that the universe is. We are here. And that demands an explanation. And then you try to figure out which is the best explanation. Then you go and figure out what the odds are to have it by natural means. And based on that number, you can compare it with eventually another alternative or different explanation, which in our case would be an intelligent being.
Could I take a shot at this?
Here's the thing. Oh, just one thing, Speed, and then I'm done. So we can see life on Earth. We can see the Earth in our solar system. We can see the entire universe. The big if in all of this is if there is a God outside of our universe, which we can't see. That's the only big if in the equation that you're putting forth. Everything else we can see, measure, study. The only thing we can't is your God.
You are making the same mistake as just Lori did. The physical universe is the evidence, and the question is where it leads. And it doesn't mean because God cannot be seen or perceived by our senses that you can immediately discard God as a possible or plausible option or explanation.
Yeah, but we can't study God. We can't test God.
It isn't necessary
So
that we test God,
so
but we
all
can.
of the evidence.
But what we can figure out, Peter, is what the features or the nature of a God can do, which is intelligent, and then we can see what we as intelligent beings can do, and then we can figure out if intelligence is a better causal explanation of the physical universe and life or not.
Okay, let's
Just
go
have
with
a solar
that.
system.
Let's just go with that. If I make up a god and I assign specific features to that god to just have him fit as the creator of the universe, does that mean that that particular god is real?
I am not talking about the particular God, Peter. I am talking about the.
I said specific.
No, let me finish, please. I am saying that what we are comparing is in an intelligent, conscious, eternal creator versus no intelligence whatsoever. You have two possibilities here. Either intelligence was involved in the instantiation of the physical universe life or not. And so you have to figure out what is it that intelligence can do, which random chance or unguided events cannot do. Then you look into the evidence, and then you look if there are eventually traces of a past intelligent being which was in action, instantiating the physical universe of life.
I agree with what you just said. The only thing that I'm saying is, if we don't attribute anything to that intelligence, then we don't have an explanation. We only have an explanation if we start attributing things to that particular intelligence, and we have no reason to justify us doing that.
I describe God as intelligent, as powerful, as eternal.
That's already an attribute that you can't be sure of. That's already an attribute that you cannot justify, because you have no way of testing how intelligent a God is.
I don't have to test that, Peter. I don't have to test it.
Yes, you do, because
listen.
You attribute the abilities to him. What if he's incredibly intelligent, but he can't do anything?
Well, God cannot do illogical things, or he cannot create a round circle or lie and tell the truth at the same time.
No. You misunderstood.
He cannot do these kind of things, but he
Potential,
can.
You misunderstood. Hold on. You misunderstood. What if your God is incredibly intelligent, but he can't create anything?
Well, I don't say that he can create anything. I am saying he can create what is logically possible.
This is you attributing something to a God that you cannot test.
I don't have to test it.
Yes, you have.
No.
Because if something is a possibility, then first of all, it needs to be possible for us to show that he's a possibility. Until you can show that a God can actually create things, until then, it is safe to assume that he can't.
I disagree with you.
Why?
Because
how do you know? How do you know a God can create?
Listen, we start.
Where's the evidence for a God that can create?
I start with the evidence. What is the evidence? The evidence is the physical universe and the created order. That's what we have to investigate. Now, that demands an explanation, and we have basically two possible explanations which we can put in two buckets. One is intelligent, eternal creator, and the other bucket is no intelligent creator. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what we have to do is now to figure out what is it that intelligence is capable of doing, which no intelligence is not capable of doing. Once we have figured it out, then we can investigate the physical natural world and see if there is evidence that probably an intelligent creator was involved in creating physical universe and life.
Okay, let me try and explain this. Let me try and explain this. On the picture, you see me holding a bird. Let's say I would put up a picture of me standing next to a chair. I'm intelligent enough to build a chair, but if I don't have saws, if I don't have hammers, nails, screwdrivers, screws, I have no possibility of creating a chair. So now you've got the evidence, me standing next to a chair. You know I've got the intelligence to make a chair, but I don't have the means to make a chair. And those means are the things that your God lacks, because we have no clue what he's capable of, because we have no way of testing what he's capable of.
It's
So
not necessary.
what happens if you?
Can I ask you a question on Tangelo?
That's natural.
Can I ask
you a question? No, I would like to answer to Peter. Once we have figured out that natural mechanisms, I'm using two approaches here. One, we have figured out that natural mechanisms are incapable and too undirected to instantiate everything which is required to have a life-permitting universe and life. We can discard based on that evidence that natural mechanisms are capable. Once you have done that, you can use the Sherlock Holmes approach and say, when you have excluded everything which is not possible, whatever is left, even if you don't understand fully the mechanism, that is the better explanation of the film.
When did we figure out that life cannot come from non-life? When did we 100% certain know that that was the case? Because I'm completely unaware of that.
Well,
if there are things that we have yet to discover, it doesn't mean it's impossible.
Based on your knowledge, which you have already exposed, Peter, and I'm not interested to ridicule here, but I am just giving you my
I don't
opinion.
feel ridiculed.
Can I ask a question?
No, I would like to answer.
Okay,
just
go ahead.
based on what on your understanding, which I have seen that you have in regards of abiogenesis and what is required to have life. I mean, you asked if proteins could not have been existing prebiotically, just fully formed and just laying around on the prebiotic curve. Based on that, I understand that you don't actually, you did not study what is required to have a first living self-replicating functional cell. And since you have not studied that, I don't think that you can actually evaluate what we are talking about and what it takes to have life from non-life.
All right, can I ask a question now? It probably close to in the near future, right? Let's say if we discovered a strong possibility that there's life on other planets, right? They're launching the James Webb telescope, and they're going to be able to really, take a good look at these atmospheres. And we could discover something that there's a high probability of life on other planets, and that could be coming up pretty soon. What is that going to mean to you if, like, let's say the probability of life on other planets are really strong because of what the James Webb telescope sees? What is that going to mean to you, if anything?
Well, I think first of all, what if questions are very irrelevant, Lori. Okay.
What do you mean? What if? That's not a what if. That's, I mean.
It's a what if.
By the way, I know all of you like links. I just put in a link to a research on abiogenesis from the Szostak Lab. It has some recent papers as well.
Thank you. I'll put it in the description.
All right. Well, let me do a thought experiment then. What if we discovered, let's say, the James Webb spots a planet that's really highly likely that it has life on it, which is a
planet from another solar system.
Right. What would that mean? Let's say we actually discovered for sure. I mean, the only way to know for sure, you'd have to go there, right? But let's say,
you know what, you think this is plausible? You believe this will happen in the future, Lori?
Yes, I do.
So you are basically using a materialism of the gaps argument.
I'm just asking you, what does it mean to you? I'm not. I'm just. Let's say that happens. I mean, we're searching for life out there. That's. I mean, that's huge in science. That's what we're trying to answer that question.
The odds to have a life-permitting planet, Lori, is 1 to 10 to the 140th power. Okay, so this is already in the realm of the absolutely beyond even the possible during the entire time span of the universe. If you shuffle all the possibilities that the universe has at hand, the chance that you will get a life-permitting planet are basically zero. That is the evidence.
Otangelo, that is not a valid probability. That's not a valid probability calculation. You don't know what you're multiplying by to get that probability. Okay, you're coming up with something that happened right now. If I were to apply this very same thing to my being here right now with a cup of coffee in front of me, and I calculated all the miniature things that would go into the probability of me being here with exactly this much coffee, I would end up with something with the numbers like so big that you couldn't even write the exponent down. Okay, that's what you're doing wrong. I wish you would understand that the probability of us doing what we are doing right now, if you take each individual element about what is happening right now, and you looked at that as, okay, that's a probability, right? And you came up with that number, it would be astronomical. That's what you're doing. That's not how you use probability.
No,
you have to know what goes into the probability. And you're claiming, where did you get your number from? Can you just give me a thumbnail idea where you got this astronomical number from?
Yeah, I'll give you the link. Just a minute, okay?
Oh no!
Okay, while he's looking, Speed, you brought up coffee. Hold on. You brought up coffee, Speed. Let's go with Kopi Luwak. So, what is the probability that people cultivate a plant in order to get the pods from said plant, then take out what is in the pods and feed that to a cat, have the cat shit it out again, clean it, then have it roasted, grind it, pour water over it in a cup, add sugar and milk, and drink it? What are the odds of that happening?
What are the odds of that particular coffee bean?
Exactly.
You're making a very basic mistake here. And I'll explain you why. If we have, let's suppose, 500 numbers, then the probability to have any sequence is equal in any string. But if you say I want to have a specified complex string like a sequence from 1 to 500, then the odds to have that sequence is 1 to 10 to the, let's say, 500. It is enormously huge.
Okay, I agree. The odds of that happening instantly, as in God created it, are astronomically improbable. Okay, to come up with a particular sequence that we have just picked and to take a random shuffle of 500 numbers, that one would be extremely improbable. But that isn't how life happened. Life happened through a lot of steps over a lot of time, going way back, and each little instant had its own probability, and you don't know what those are. Christopher asks here, if you know every possible way for life to exist, do you know that? Do you have that information?
Well, the thing is, even to have
you got to answer. You got to answer questions. Okay, now this is a very serious question. Do you know of every possible way for life to exist?
Yeah, can I answer now?
If you answer it.
In order for you to have life, what is necessary is that you have atoms, and in order to have atoms, you require the right forces between the weak, strong, and electromagnetic forces, and these have to be fine-tuned, and you have.
And what's the probability?
And well, it is astronomically huge.
How do you know that? Who did that calculation?
Well,
because okay, there could be a unifying theory that says that the particular fine-tuning parameters that you have measured are the only ones that could possibly be. That could be a probability of 1 out of 1. It could be the only possible way for it to be.
That's materialism of the gap speed. You don't.
Oh,
know
what
that.
is okay? Now you're saying that God is the foundation of all being. Okay, isn't that exactly the same thing?
No, it's
Aren't
not.
you saying exactly the same thing?
No, I'm not.
I'm saying that there's one singular possibility in physics, and that is this particular set of parameters
You have no
for
evidence.
physicality.
You have no evidence for this. You just make it up.
And do you have any evidence for God?
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I
We
do.
know that.
Can I say something?
No, I disagree with you, Speed. I know.
Your evidence, okay. Your evidence for God is these crazy probabilities, and you're trying to calculate probabilities for which you have no knowledge of how to calculate the individual probabilities.
Yes,
No,
we
you
do.
don't.
Yes,
You only
we
know
do.
what is right now, and you're saying if we rolled the dice and this universe popped into existence, it would be highly improbable. I agree.
Well, then, Speed, you can throw science into the garbage bin because you are simply ignoring all the field of physics and astrophysics, and which actually work precisely in regards of these issues, and they calculate these odds. I can give you many scientific papers which calculate the odds in regards of every single fine-tuned constant, and you are simply ignoring that. Well, you're free to do that, but that's not rational.
Send me one paper that calculates one set of odds. Okay, one paper that accurately calculates one set of odds on one of the fine-tuning parameters.
I'll do
Send
it
me
right
that
now.
paper.
No problem.
Can I say something?
Email it to me.
Okay, go ahead, Tom.
Right now.
Well, all we have to really do is just look at our own solar system. And it's like, why is there so many planets that we haven't found any sign of life on any of them? Even our sister planet, Venus. And then on Earth itself, since we found life there, but there's only certain places where life really works properly. Like in the super cold places, it's not very good.
I just
In the super-
I just pulled it up. There are 6 likely places for life in our universe apart from Earth.
Yeah, it still misses the actual point, I feel here, which is how do you know that a natural universe, right, it has an improbability of creating life? Because you don't.
He doesn't know the probability.
There is no
Evidence
way you can
of
make
our
that
solar system.
calculation. There is no way you can make that calculation.
Of course you
Because you
do. That's
only
the entire
have
field
one
of
universe
science
which has
that figures
expressed
it out.
life. Haven't quite finished yet. Because you only have one universe which has expressed life. Right? So you can't know the prior probabilities to natural universes producing life. You don't have that information. You can never have that information. Okay, and that's what you need in order to say that this is a fine-tuned universe, specifically this universe. Okay, otherwise, maybe all natural universes have a fine-tunedness to them, right? And they all produce life. We don't know that. Maybe if you change, hang on, last point. Maybe if you change some of the parameters of physics, right, these fine-tuned constants, maybe if you change some of those parameters, they just lead to different forms of life.
No,
we don't know that. We don't know that.
Of course we do. You are wrong.
No, we don't, because we don't know.
You are making shit up. You're making shit up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, really?
We have
So
lab experiments.
You tell me how you decided what the probability distribution of universes.
I just gave you a link here. Look it up. Educate yourself, Simon.
Tell me.
You are talking bullshit.
Sorry, Otangelo, let me just finish. Let me ask this question finally. How do you know what the probability distribution of universes that produce life is? Please, go ahead.
I just gave a link. Look it up.
Do you know what the
Educate
probability
yourself.
distribution is? Because I don't think you do if you're saying you haven't answered this question.
I already answered. Give a link.
No,
Look
you
it up.
didn't.
Educate
No,
yourself.
saying go do Google is not going to work, I'm afraid. Saying that you have this thing, I'm asking you, how do you know what the probability distribution of life-producing universes is? Could you just give me that answer?
Why should I give you that answer, Simon? That's not how it works. Do you think I am a computer knowing everything and just having an answer to any kind of a question which you asks? That's not
It's
how
what
it
you
works.
tell us to do.
Yeah,
I gave you a link. Look it up. There you have
Your
the
claim is that this
calculations.
universe is fine-tuned. I want to
Well,
know how you know
if you want
that
to
any
learn,
universe is
that's not the
fine-tuned.
way to do it. That's not the way to do
I'm
it.
afraid you
Simon,
don't understand
go and
mathematics.
go and do your homework, Simon. You
I'm
are
afraid you
talking
don't
shit.
understand mathematics if you don't know what a
Okay.
probability
I
distribution is.
don't care what you think about me if I understand or don't understand mathematics. Okay.
Well, your argument hangs on you having knowledge of a probability distribution for universes.
Well, I am open to have conversations with people which are open to learn. You are not.
Well, that I'm afraid is slander.
Yeah, maybe this.
I don't
and
care for drama.
Sometimes
Yeah,
I think I'm
it's-
justified to make that kind of criticism.
Christian habit to try to read people's minds.
I have to understand you have no answer for what a probability distribution is or what it means to your argument.
Yes, I don't have an answer right now. Okay, are you happy now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good.
So can I get back to the question that I asked you, Otangelo? Let's say we did find life somewhere else. Either, let's say we found, some sort of life on Mars, or the high probability of something. Let's say we found life somewhere else other than Earth. What would that mean to you?
Let's say we don't. What does that mean to you?
It means nothing.
We still have to search.
Okay, so
yeah,
if we find
I mean-
it somewhere else, it doesn't mean anything to me as well.
Would you believe that your God created it if we did find it somewhere else?
Well, I said already, I think you are making up imagined
I'm
scenarios.
just making it up. We have a massive
hypothetical.
You are.
We
Yes,
spend
you are
billions
asking.
and billions of dollars in searching for life in the
And
universe, and I'm just
has
making
life
shit
been
up.
found?
Really?
And has life been found somewhere else?
No, but you.
Okay.
But
So what do you do about that?
Oh my God!
Keeping believing in something
It's a
that there is no
hypothetical
evidence for? There's no evidence
So
that
you
there is
think-
life
all right,
somewhere
so
else.
let me ask you another question.
So work with
Otangelo,
that.
let me ask you another question. So do you believe that all the billions of dollars that we spend on space exploration, you think that that's just a waste of time?
Well,
Searching for life, you think that's a total waste and a waste of money?
Yes, searching life in the universe is a total waste of time and money. It should be spent to feed poor in Africa.
So the amount of
Should be spent in
intelligent
education
scientists
more.
on this planet, you think they're all stupid
Yes,
for doing
they are
such a
stupid.
thing?
Yes, they are stupid, and they are also stupid in making abiogenesis research, which brings us nowhere.
Wow. Wow.
Otangelo, I've got a question.
You heard it
I've got
here,
a question.
folks. You heard it here, folks. Otangelo believes the entire planet of all the scientists on this planet are stupid. Wow.
Hold
That's not
on.
what I
I've
said.
got a
So
question.
now you are
I just asked you that.
No, you just misrepresent what I said, Lori. So
Okay,
don't
what
lie
did you say?
about me.
Repeat
Okay?
it. Repeat it. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Repeat it.
I said that the entire field of abiogenesis research has not brought any result whatsoever to bring bring science closer to explain how life could have emerged prebiotically unguided. So
And
it
this
is
is
a
why
waste
I
of
now-
money. Can I finish, please? Okay.
I
So
don't know
so
why you
it is.
should
So
have,
it
but go
is.
ahead.
Wow. So
Go
in
ahead,
my
go ahead.
opinion, it is an entire waste of money to do research of something which in
okay.
70 years has completely failed.
I understand. I've heard you say that 1,000 times. I've heard you. Listen, Otangelo, I've heard you say that 1,000 times.
Why don't you permit me to end what I am saying, Lord?
But you're not answering my question. I've heard you
Yes,
say
I
that
am.
1,000
I
times.
answered your question. I am answering your question. So don't interrupt me, please.
All right, go
Are you
ahead.
able to
Go
have,
ahead.
to have good
Please
conversation?
shorten your answer.
Even
Please
if
shorten your answer.
I'm not shortening my answer. I will
Okay,
give the
all right, go
answer which
ahead.
I think is appropriate to what you just said. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So I think that science has demonstrated in 70 years then rather to come closer to explain how life could have emerged prebiotically without intelligence, it demonstrates how unlikely it is. So it is a complete waste of time to keep doing that research with the hope somewhere.
So do you think
not
Tom?
finished yet?
Let me
I've
ask you a question now.
I've not finished yet. I've not finished yet.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Laurie, because he's trying to pull
you're
the
not
card.
answering the question.
I'm sorry, I made him rage quit again.
Yeah, of course.
But,
Of course. Now, hey, let me ask the room. Did I ask him? Let me ask the room.
Laurie, let me just get in there for a wee second. I will be very brief.
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
to say, Otangelo, no, you're wrong. The paper you've just gone through, I've just been through it. It doesn't say anywhere in that paper about probability distribution, and they don't mention how they understand what the probability distribution is. So you are incorrect when you gave me that link. That's where the answer was. Go ahead.
Thomas, can I read? Can I read just one sentence from the paper that he just posted?
Peter, CRISPR just arrived, and I'd like for him to get a word in.
I just wanted to read one or two sentences that I highlighted. It won't take more than a few seconds. If the claim is that laws of nature are fixed by logical and mathematical necessity, then this is demonstrably wrong. Theoretical physicists find it rather easy to describe alternative universes that are free from logical contradiction. Davis and Manson, 2003. The category of physically impossible or physically possible isn't much help either, as the laws of nature tell us what is physically possible, but not which laws are possible. Just wanted to throw that out. That's it.
And that's exactly what I was saying about probability.
Can I ask the room? Didn't I ask him, do you believe that all the scientists on the entire planet, all the money that we spend and all the study that we do with searching for life on other planets, do you believe they're stupid? And he said, yes, I believe they're stupid. Did I not hear that incorrectly?
Yeah, and I really would have liked to ask him, what if we do find life, and with finding that life, find a cure to cancer? Is it then still useless?
Or and this is the thing. You're reading a paper that Otangelo claims to have read, yet it contradicts what he was saying. The boy cannot read. He just cannot read. I think it's because of his religion. He just has to see everything through a filter that corrupts his ability to take in information.
This happened yesterday. The same thing.
Years, he is lying because it's obvious there's been progress. Because look at the Professor Dave Explains video of the last few days. He is demonstrating and documenting progress in the area of abiogenesis. So his spiel is just worthless. I'm sorry, I just had to get that in.
Okay. By the way,
the exact same thing happened yesterday.
Hold on a second, Peter.
When I was on a stream where Jill put in a paper where he read the abstract but not the conclusion.
Can you guys hear me?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Just didn't say like okay. I put both papers in the description, and we're looking at the paragraph I think that you read from Peter.
Yeah, you highlighted exactly the part that I read out earlier.
Yeah. Alternatively, we could discover that the set of possible universe is much smaller than we thought. In fact, we could discover that this is the only possible way those physical constants could have been. And we don't fucking know. That's the problem.
Yes.
CRISPR?
And that is what a probability distribution is. It's understanding that claim. That's why I know
the misunderstanding of probabilities is just so prevalent. It's just it's frightening. It's just
Speed. Well, you gotta clip that where he said that all scientists are stupid. I gotta go back and listen to that. That's what I heard. I asked him directly, and that's what he said. And then he said I misrepresented him. I didn't think I did, but
no, you heard him correctly.
I think you should add the caveat because this was in the context of searching for extraterrestrial life. So you should keep it into the context that was said. I don't think that he meant to say that all scientists are stupid, because I've heard him claim the opposite.
Yeah,
So,
well, they're all stupid for working on abiogenesis too. We've heard a lot of that in the last few weeks. So
yeah,
and that is a problem. Yeah.
Anyway, when we get to
I mean, I mostly just came in here to see what the paper was that he was posting.
it's Luke Barnes.
You'll have to excuse me for not being surprised that it doesn't support his case at all, because Otangelo has literally never once in his entire history online posted a link to a scientific article that has supported the position he has actually taken. Ever once, ever.
that's a problem.
I once,
problem.
he likes linking to his website.
This is
and
Luke
I.
Barnes,
Sorry.
by the way. This is Luke Barnes. He's an
Oh no, I found it already. I got it.
Who works? Yeah, who's worked on fine tuning.
And here's the other one. He posted another, so I'll throw this one up too.
I do have to say that I wish we could have better conversations with him. You know, I mean, it always turns out this way every time, and
we did before I went out to get the mail.
Yeah, I know. I mean, sometimes it goes.
Yeah, and then Scott ruined it. But I don't know. I just thought he was over talking you too much, David.
Yeah.
And I just wanted you to get a word in edgewise.
Yeah, and you know, you've heard him say that same spiel 1,000 times, and it's like, I've heard this. Okay, I've heard you say this at least 100 times. I know what you're saying.
Look what he
The
linked.
thing is, you got to get him. You got to get him to. Well, yeah, RTB. That's a great source. You got to get him to accept at the outset that while you are happy to let him make his point, that doesn't mean you're going to let him finish his point. And the distinction is, you can make your point and then decide you're going to repeat it 18 times and you still haven't finished. Right. And that's not okay.
I know, and he
Once
keeps
we know
doing
what your
that.
point is, we're going to start cutting you off.
We have to train Otangelo not to do that. In the same fashion that we train Danny not to say sorry or call me ignorant or whatever.
Although that might be a false dream, I can say right there.
Unfortunately, every time you moderate Otangelo, he leaves. So
yeah, I mean, he needs to answer questions, and clearly he was done answering questions, and that's fair enough, right? That's fine. I don't mind people running away if they're not going to answer questions, because there's no point in having the conversation anymore. But nonetheless,
well, here's the just to make sure everybody knows. Here's the really fun thing right now is he's still watching this, right? So feel free to just insult him all you want, because it'll just rub the salt in the wound.
There's no point in insulting him. He's insulted himself by quitting.
now he's an okay guy. I mean, I enjoy him more than most.
I mean, it's funny. That's a point.
know.
Well,
Well,
he can insult me all he likes, and he did insult me, all right? And I'm not worried about it. It doesn't bother me in the slightest, because he didn't answer the questions.
So our one simple rule, we need a second rule that means you can't make your point over and over and over again. I think that would be rule number 2, Scott.
So Otangelo's point was like,
you have to answer the questions. Any other rule is just pointless.
Yeah,
that's the thing that I would put in there too. If you ask someone a question and then they give you an answer that is not an answer to the question you've asked, you should be able to interrupt them and get them back on track.
So what I saw, what Otangelo was trying to do was just say, like, if Thomas Edison made all those mistakes before he found out how to make a filament for a light bulb, that means they couldn't make a light bulb or something like that.
Yeah, but even that premise is kind of false, because we have made progress in abiogenesis, lots of progress, and that whole premise is just ridiculous, and Otangelo needs to be called on it the second he says it.
So that's why I was saying we have evidence in our own solar system that life is hard to come about. even on the planet that did have life on it, so, or it does have life. I mean,
we have lots of examples of solar systems, right? So potentially that is an answerable question. What we don't have is lots of examples of universes, so that is an unanswerable question.
Right.
So I mean, there's other stars that are just like ours, and they have other planets.
Well, every natural universe could be life producing for all we know. For all we know, we've got no way of guessing to say that this is an unusual universe and therefore God. Anyway, that's all besides the point, because it's an old argument and not one addressed by Luke Barnes in anything I've ever seen him say. But that's another point. I just want to change the subject, if I may, guys. Are you ready for a quick subject change?
Oh, but boys and girls, it's getting late. But go ahead and try.
Oh yeah.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to say I was in Brojo 420 Cafe Brojo's the other day, and Jill happened to go in there. And they were talking about morality, and Jill was talking about...
Simon, do I need to pull up the picture?
No, please, let me finish, dude.
Yeah, do I need to pull up the picture?
So anyway, whatever. So where was it? Oh, yeah. Jill was talking about morality. Oh, thank you, Ray. And he basically translated the word evil in Genesis as calamity, okay, instead of evil. Right, so he could avoid this morality claim. And so I suggest everybody now call him Calamity Jill, which was made up by Spooky Bedhair, by the way. Okay.
Okay, is this the right channel?
Yeah, that's the right channel. You got it. You got it. Stick that
Okay,
in
where's the right video?
Probably the non-live.
420. Your mother was the stream. The 4 hour 41 minutes. That was it. And the picture that I have on screen is the one that I made during this conversation, where Jill came in.
Yeah. So as I say, Jill was translating the word evil, or how we translate the word evil in Genesis. He was going back to Hebrew and then retranslating that into the word calamity to avoid the moral claim. Yes. So just to point that out. And Spooky said in chat at some point, Calamity Jill.
Calamity Jill. I'm gonna put that in the description. I'm gonna call it Calamity Jill, and I've linked the video.
Thank you.
Yeah,
What
does calamity mean?
Picture, Speed. The picture that I made is Calamity Jane with Jesus's head, and then Calamity Jill added to it.
Oh, nice! So you got Calamity Jane's picture. Let's see.
So, what about these 3 rules? Do you agree that these are sufficiently foundational?
What?
So another fun part was that we found out that the tree in the Garden of Eden was actually the tree of knowledge of good and calamity, which I didn't know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So what does calamity mean?
It's the exact same word for evil that is used in the same verse where it says God created evil, and Jill argued that meant calamity.
Knowledge of good and
calamity seems like an environment of the environment is evil, almost like.
Yeah, and therefore God didn't create evil.
I've seen that picture before, and I would not have to. I would not want to have biblical knowledge of calamity, Jane. I would not want that for myself.
Calamity Jill. Anyway, that was just a quick subject change because I really want the name to stick. Spooky Bedhair came up with that.
Okay, I put it in the description, and hopefully we'll pick it up again, and we'll keep it going. Okay, guys, I really want to shoot this in the head today because I got things to do tonight. So I'm going to end the stream. Does anybody have any last words before we all go backstage?
Stay curious.
They should watch yesterday's stream, and the moment where you clipped, where you had I'm so terrible with names. The actor on screen. That's a little before that is where Heretic started talking to Jill. I think that's the most enjoyable part of the entire conversation.
We'll check it out. Okay, let's say goodbye, Cruel World.
I'm leaving you today.